Hello everyone, my name is Ikadek Ramanda WS, a student of the Information Systems program at Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia. In this session, I will present a material titled Business Continuity Audit and Disaster Recovery. This topic is very important because it discusses how organizations can maintain resilience, ensure the continuity of their operations, and recover effectively from disruptions. Let's get started.
All right, let's talk about something incredibly important but mind-numbingly dull-sounding: business continuity and disaster recovery. Yes, it sounds like a corporate retreat seminar where the main activity is trust falls onto a pile of spreadsheets. But stick with me. This is about what happens when everything goes catastrophically wrong. Think of it as a company's prenuptial agreement with chaos. One day, your office is humming along, everyone is pretending to work, and the next, a flood turns your server room into an impromptu swimming pool, or a hacker decides your customer data would look better on the dark web. It's not a matter of if things go sideways, but when. So, what are these two concepts? Business continuity is the big picture plan. It's the grown-up in the room asking, how do we keep making money and serving our customers even if our main office is, for example, currently being investigated as a new habitat for raccoons? It covers everything: people, places, and processes. It ensures that your employees know where to go, how to work, and what to do when the usual way of doing things is suddenly, spectacularly, not an option. It's about resilience, about being able to take a punch from a hurricane or a cyber attack and not immediately collapse into a sobbing heap on the floor. Disaster recovery, on the other hand, is its more tech-obsessed sibling. This is the plan that springs into action to save your digital life. All your precious data, your customer information, your emails, your software, all the ones and zeros that actually make the business run, need a lifeboat. Disaster recovery, or DR, is that lifeboat. It's focused specifically on your IT infrastructure. When a server crashes or a ransomware attack holds your files hostage, the DR plan is what the IT heroes use to restore everything from backups and get the digital heart of the company beating again. It's less about where will people sit, and more about how do we get the computers to turn back on. You might be thinking, this sounds like a lot of work for something that might never happen. And you'd be right, it is a lot of work. But not having a plan is like being a trapeze artist without a safety net. It's thrilling perhaps, but one slip up and things get very messy, very quickly. Companies that ignore BCDR are gambling with everything: their finances, their reputation, and the trust of their customers and employees. In today's world, where a single click can unleash digital mayhem, being unprepared isn't just risky, it's a stunningly bold form of corporate self-sabotage. It's the business equivalent of juggling chainsaws while riding a unicycle on a tightrope. Fun to watch, but you know it's going to end badly. So you have a plan. Fantastic. You've printed it out, put it in a shiny binder, and placed it on a shelf to gather dust. Job done, right? Wrong. Terribly, hilariously wrong. That plan might be completely useless. It could be based on technology from 2005, or assume that all your employees are secretly Olympic sprinters who can outrun a flash flood. This is where the business continuity audit comes in. Think of it as a professional pessimist, an auditor, coming in to rigorously poke holes in your beautiful plan. Their job is to ask the awkward questions and find the weaknesses before a real disaster does it for them, which is generally a much less pleasant experience. An audit is essentially a health checkup for your company's survival strategy. The auditor doesn't just glance at your binder and say, "Looks thick, good job." They dig deep. They start by looking at your business impact analysis, which is corporate speak for figuring out what parts of your business are most important. They ask, if this part breaks, how much money do we lose per hour? And which functions absolutely must keep running to prevent the company from imploding? It's a brutal but necessary process of ranking your operations from absolutely critical to may. It can wait. This helps focus your resources where they matter most. Next, the auditors put on their doomsday hats for the risk assessment. Here, they brainstorm every conceivable thing that could go wrong. We're talking natural disasters like earthquakes and floods, technical failures like massive power outages, and human-caused chaos like cyber attacks, or even just an employee spilling a latte on the one server that runs everything. They don't just list these threats, they analyze how likely they are to happen and how devastating the impact would be. This isn't about fear-mongering, it's about being brutally realistic, so you can prepare for the most probable and damaging scenarios, instead of, say, a sudden giraffe stampede through the marketing department. Finally, the audit examines your actual strategies and, most importantly, your testing. Do you have a backup site? Great. Has anyone ever actually tried working from it? Have you tested restoring your data from backups? Did it work? Or did you discover your backups were just 300 gigabytes of corrupted cat photos? An untested plan is not a plan. It's a prayer. Auditors check the records of these tests, interview the people involved, and verify that your company can, in fact, do what it says it can do in a crisis. This process is vital. It's what turns your dusty binder of good intentions into a living, effective shield against disaster. It finds the cracks before the entire dam breaks. Now let's zoom in on disaster recovery, the part of the plan for when your technology throws a tantrum. This is the emergency response for your digital world. If business continuity is about keeping the business running, disaster recovery is about reviving the technology that the business runs on. It's the IT team's moment to shine, their superhero landing moment after the villain, be it a flood, fire, or a piece of malicious code, has done its worst. The main goal here is simple. Get the essential systems and data back online as quickly and painlessly as possible. Without this, your business is effectively paralyzed in the modern age. The first step in any solid DR plan is, unsurprisingly, identifying risks to your IT systems. This is a very tech-focused version of the risk assessment we talked about. What happens if the main server overheats? What if a software update goes horribly wrong and corrupts your entire database? What if a hacker encrypts every single file and demands a ransom in a cryptocurrency you've never heard of? Understanding these specific threats allows the IT department to build targeted defenses and recovery procedures. It's about knowing your enemy, even if that enemy is just a faulty power strip in the server room. It's a game of what if played with very expensive equipment. The absolute cornerstone of disaster recovery is backups. Backups, backups, backups. I cannot say this enough. It is the single most important thing. Not having backups is like driving without a spare tire, a seatbelt, or brakes. It's an act of pure, unadulterated foolishness. Companies need to be regularly copying their critical data to a secure, separate location. And not just one location. The 3-2-1 rule is a good benchmark. Have at least 3 copies of your data on 2 different types of media, with 1 copy stored off-site. This way, even if your entire office building is compromised, that off-site copy is your golden ticket back to normalcy. But again, having backups isn't enough. You must test them. This is where Dichter testing comes in. It's a drill where the IT team pretends a disaster has happened and attempts to restore the systems from the backups. This is where you find the fun surprises, like discovering the backup process failed 3 months ago and nobody noticed, or that the restoration process takes 3 days instead of the 3 hours you'd planned for. These tests lead to continuous improvement, refining the plan with every drill. And auditors play a key role here, verifying that these tests are happening, that they are thorough, and that the company is learning from them. They are the independent referees making sure the team is actually ready for game day. After all this talk of disasters, audits, and backups, you might be feeling a bit overwhelmed. It seems like a monumental effort for a hypothetical bad day. So, what's the real payoff? The most obvious benefit, of course, is survival. A well-executed BCDR plan is the difference between a company that experiences a temporary disruption and a company that becomes a grim statistic. It allows a business to navigate a crisis, minimize financial losses, and resume operations with a speed that leaves unprepared competitors in the dust. It's about turning a potential knockout blow into a mere stumble. Finding weaknesses before they are exploited by a real event is priceless. But the benefits go far beyond just keeping the lights on. It's about building trust and confidence. Think about it from a customer's perspective. If a company suffers a data breach or a major outage and handles it poorly, that trust is shattered. Customers will flee to competitors who seem more reliable. A company that can communicate clearly during a crisis and restore services promptly demonstrates competence and respect for its clients. It shows that they are a safe pair of hands to do business with. This confidence is a powerful asset, one that is hard to build and incredibly easy to lose in a single poorly managed incident. This confidence extends inward to employees as well. Working for a company that is clearly unprepared for chaos is stressful. Employees worry about their job security and the stability of the business. A robust BCDR plan, communicated effectively to the staff, shows that leadership is responsible and has their backs. It provides a clear roadmap for what to do in an emergency, reducing panic and enabling everyone to contribute to the recovery. It fosters a culture of resilience and security, making the company a better and safer place to work. It tells your people, don't worry, we've thought about this. We have a plan. Ultimately, business continuity and disaster recovery are not just about managing a crisis. They are fundamental practices of good governance and strategic management. They force a company to understand itself on a deeply intimate level, to know its critical functions, its vulnerabilities, and its dependencies. This process of self-discovery often leads to improvements in efficiency and process optimization, even in day-to-day operations. So yes, it's about surviving the storm, but it's also about building a stronger, smarter, and more resilient ship in the first place. One that can protect its resources, its reputation, and most importantly, the trust of the people who depend on it.